Packed house as always, not the same numbers that Arsenal drew to Wembley Stadium in their previous two Champions League campaigns, but a much different feeling. Most of the Arsenal players have become familiar with the strains of the Champions League anthem over the last 3 seasons, but haven't quite been able to cope with the strains of the competition. Arsenal were Lazio's first ever European opponents. They paid good money to be regarded as Champions League favourites. £60 million during the summer alone, gambled on just 3 players. But Arsenal, with 2 wins already, as many as they managed in either of their previous campaigns, suggesting that they've learned the ropes now. They're convinced the return to Highbury will be a factor, and that was why it was vital that they fueled that conviction with a victory here last week. It's ironic thinking back 30 years to that first game for Lazio against Arsenal, as we look at the cordial handshakes here, that inaugural night ended with a brawl at the official post-match banquet. Well, let's take a check on tonight's competence. No chance for Arsene Wenger to rest anyone ahead of Sunday's summit with Manchester United. Patrick Vieira, who will miss that game through suspension, returns along with Tony Adams this evening. Enough added insurance for that gamble on 3 forwards. Bergkamp supporting Kanu and Henry. Robert Pires is injured. Oleg Luzhnyi is preferred to lead Dixon at right back. The world's most expensive player, Hernan Crespo, and the world's most expensive goalkeeper, Angelo Peruzzi, are both nursing injuries back in Italy. But Lazio's other recent acquisition, C.Lopez, is back in the team. One of 3 Argentines, with Simeone and Veron in the engine room. Even the understudies, Marchegiani in goal and Inzaghi, the youngster, in attack, are Italian internationals. 9 internationals on the substitutes benches too. Lazio have a former Middlesbrough leading goalscorer and a former Crystal Palace manager, Fabrizio Ravanelli and Attilio Lombardo, amongst their substitutes. The referee is one of the most experienced in Europe, Garcia Aranda from Madrid. The weather isn't very Spanish, but Ron, the outlook for tonight out there in the middle is very hot indeed. So many great players on view.
Yeah, I think we're going to see one of the great games, and that particularly we saw a lot of this guy last year, C.Lopez. He'll play just off the front of Inzaghi, but I think he'll get a free roll. I think he'll be allowed to flow from side to side, make runs from deep positions, and that's where the recall of this man is so important, Tony Adams, because they will be coming at him with pace, and it's up to him and Keown particularly to keep the focus when the attack-minded Arsenal are going forward.
Home sweet home. The 4 games at Highbury so far this season have produced 4 Arsenal wins and no fewer than 18 goals in total. Whatever happened to boring Arsenal? This won't be boring, I can assure you. Thierry Henry tangling with Nesta. Vieira. Free kick has gone Lazio's way. Nesta, who is the club captain in their double winning season last year and then went on to play superbly for his country in the summer. Luzhnyi against Nedved. Back as far as C.Lopez. Parlour coming between them. Seaman's clearance hanging in the wind. Kanu. Dispossessed by Nesta. Left back is Pancaro. Veron back to Diego Simeone.
Just having a look what particular role Dennis Bergkamp's going to play. You know, we assume he's going to play behind the front 2, even 3. At the moment, he's playing on the outside right position. Now, I just wonder whether his responsibility when they lose the ball will just be to fill in holes anywhere he's round the play.
Adams, who has the responsibility for leading Arsenal tonight. Here is Bergkamp drifting out to the right-hand side, feeding Ray Parlour. Inzaghi. Nedved. This is Negro. Stankovic. Won by Vieira. This is Henry. Little isolated over on that left-hand side. He's looking for a free kick from Negro, and he got one. Mihajlovic there is wearing a protection for a facial injury that he picked up in Donetsk 2 weeks ago. That really is a rather gruesome-looking contraption to protect his right cheekbone.
You would also think that Arsenal may try and put some pressure on him with the aerial stuff, get the big guys on top of him and see, test his courage.
Silvinho to test him out. Vieira with a header on, but misdirected.
Yeah, I think we'll see a little bit of a different type of game from Vieira as well tonight. You know, I think he'll play the role that eventually I think he'll play for France, and that is the absolute anchor man. Because with so many players, Ljungberg can run forward, Parlour likes to run forward. It's very important that somebody sits and protects the two central defenders.
Vieira certainly will be fresh, fresher than he would want to be because of that domestic suspension. He's played just 2 games in the last month, both in this competition. He completes his domestic suspension on Sunday. Silvinho. Picked off by Negro, but it runs loose for Kanu. Ljungberg is supporting Henry down that side, but Nesta is across.
Well, the early signs are certainly, I mentioned about Bergkamp a few minutes ago, looks very much as if he's just going to play as an orthodox attacking right-sided midfield player. Obviously, in the last third of the pitch, you'll be looking from this sort of situation to dive across.
Luzhnyi playing in his favoured position of right-back for only the 3rd time this season for Arsenal. He's been a makeshift central defender in the main. Bergkamp has given it away to Veron, but won it back. And then given it away to Negro.
Who would have thought that from Bergkamp? Wins the ball and gives it away twice in the space of a second.
He's starting a Champions League game for the first time this season. Just 25 minutes of football in Arsenal's 2 opening matches.
When you talk about systems as well, Clive, I mean, it's very hard really to pinpoint what particular system they will play Lazio. I think the only thing you can say is Inzaghi will definitely operate as a solo striker, and then the rest of them will be very fluent. Lopez will float from side to side, Nedved will dive infield.
Ray Parlour, driving run, couldn't drive it past Veron though. Cleared by Pancaro. Adams neatly for Silvinho. Took on a little bit too much. Veron. Inzaghi. Play behind Lopez. This is the younger of the Inzaghi brothers. It's his brother Pippo, who's the fixture in the Italian national side and who has been to the final of this competition with Juventus. Inzaghi is nearly 3 years younger, but they're really footballing twins. They're very similar, off-the-shoulder, predatory type strikers. Kanu. Winning the corner kick from Mihajlovic.
A little bit of interchange there. Kanu goes out to the right-hand side. Bergkamp dives through the middle. And they've had an opportunity to test this fellow, Mihajlovic. Jerry was talking about him beforehand. He had a nightmare, didn't he, in the European Cup. And I think certainly free kicks and everything, first class. Set plays, but as a defender, a lot to be desired at this stage of his career.
Silvinho will whip this one in with his left foot. Both Adams and Keown are forward from the back. Two central defenders have stayed forward. Parlour looking for Adams. Keown has made a burst into the box, and that spells problem for the opponents these days. Held it up well for Kanu. Just drifts past challenges as if they're not there. But the final ball was disappointing. Look at the control from Veron. And the early pass, which has freed Inzaghi. David Seaman is alert.
I just wondered, it looks to me as if there's a bit of a wind behind the Lazio team. That could in effect favour the Arsenal, because a lot of the through balls could run on, as we've just seen there, onto Seaman. That's a foul.
Pancaro's left arm crashing into the back of Dennis Bergkamp's head. In towards Henry. But it just drifted away from him, and the swirling wind is a problem this evening.
That was unlucky though, a bit of bright inventiveness from Bergkamp and Henry. They both switched on, unfortunately the ball just didn't make.
Veron, cut out by the energetic Ljungberg. Here's Bergkamp, early in towards Kanu. I think Henry was almost trying to get out of the way of that. Simeone a little bit loose. Henry, Ljungberg is wide. Simeone is covering. Pancaro to Veron. Looking long towards the pacey Claudio Lopez, but the pacey Silvinho gets in front of him. That'll be a real leg race if those two get on their bikes, the Brazilian and the Argentine.
For the game, you know, we've just seen an example of it there. I was talking to Ravanelli about, and he was full of Veron. He said, when Veron plays, we play. And I think it's very important that Arsenal don't let him pick passes off like they've just done there.
Nedved to Pancaro. Inzaghi looking for Nedved, cut out there by Keown. Luzhnyi finding Bergkamp. Kanu dropping deep.
You know what we've got here, Clive? We've got a real European match. This is what European football was built on. Great sides, great players, exciting crowds, big tensions, and I tell you,
Nesta on Bergkamp. Grappling on the edge of the penalty area.
Well, then he was a bit like that in the World Cup, Nesta, in the European Cup. He was very tight against opponents, always prepared to have a little grapple, and
that's almost part and parcel of defending in Italy.
You know, I'm just wondering here, it must be when they're practicing free kicks, they've got that many to love a dip from here.
Now, who's at the front of the queue for this enticing free kick? Bergkamp, Henry and Silvinho are the contenders. 3 Arsenal men in the Lazio wall. It's Dennis Bergkamp, and it strikes that wall, and Simeone is able to clear. Nobody upfield for Lazio. Came off the head of Mihajlovic, who was less than convincing there in the air. Pancaro. Claudio Lopez is offside. Went all the way with Valencia to the final last year, scoring against Lazio in the quarterfinals at a time when his move to the Italian side had already been rubber-stamped. Simeone showed too much of that to Vieira. Neither of those two are going to pull out. This is Silvinho, now Ljungberg. Henry is pulled wide. Bergkamp and Kanu wait in the centre, and they'll wait for the corner. Arsenal almost picking up where they left off against Shakhtar Donetsk in the exciting dying moments a week ago.
We've got a big advantage, of course, or an extra advantage today that the skipper's back. We all know how dangerous he can be from set plays. Interesting to see Mihajlovic picking him up.
It's in towards Adams, and it came off Mihajlovic. Marchegiani is able to claim it. Not a great deal that Mihajlovic knew about the block that he got on Adams' miss-hit shot.
Clever corner, good connection, good block.
Pancaro. That's a teasing cross which David Seaman deals with. Adams got a better connection than I'd first thought there. It was goal-bound too. Henry to Kanu. Vieira. Bergkamp now drifting out to the left-hand side. Luzhnyi. To nobody in particular. Bergkamp will try to retrieve it. Ljungberg. So much pluck and self-belief about Freddie Ljungberg's play.
Yeah, he's a little terrier. I actually prefer him on that side when he plays on the left-hand side of midfield. Remember the night we saw him destroy England in Stockholm from there? Sometimes I think when he's on the other side, he has a problem beating people.
It's almost exactly 2 years ago, and his move to Arsenal came the following week. Arsenal asking all the early questions. Keown in towards Kanu. Nesta reaching over him to clear. Nedved. Just caught by Vieira.
Yeah, he's treading on toes, Patrick Vieira. As soon as the ball bounces, he's in, and, you know, that's his job. Nothing particularly malicious with this. He's got to the ball, and I think Nedved's made a bit of a meal of it. But, I mean, I think that's the temperature of the game. Nobody's got time to take a touch on the ball at the moment.
Arsenal season started 3 weeks before Lazio's. Their opening day defeat at Sunderland is the only blot in either copybook to date. Lazio have had 5 games in various cup competitions, won 4, drawn 1, averaged 3 goals a match. Not a spot of rust to be seen on them. This is Ljungberg.
Shirt pulling. Stankovic had a little tug at the back of his shirt there.
Simeone trying to chest that down. Luzhnyi just tosses it forward. Bergkamp putting Mihajlovic under pressure. Quite a famous encounter between those two at the last World Cup finals, when Dennis Bergkamp appeared to stand on Mihajlovic's chest.
You don't reckon that's why he's worn that thing, so you don't recognise it?
Ljungberg.
It looks like somebody had the Phantom of the Opera in it, doesn't it?
Interesting that the referee who missed that night is the referee who's in charge tonight. Veron. Nedved. Pancaro. Here is Mihajlovic. That left foot of his really is a wand. But Arsenal looks solid so far, as well as inventive. Vieira. Henry. Held up by Stankovic. Feeds Kanu. Ljungberg to his left, but Veron came between them. Just a little bit too much weight on Vieira's pass. Veron's pass perfectly weighted. Stankovic now to Nedved. Pancaro arriving in support. Given away. 4 Lazio players out of the game.
See, from here, Vieira had it there. I'd like to see him play one in behind the left-hand defender and let Henry get on a run. I think they've got to try and mix it up a little bit, Arsenal. They'll get a chance to put things behind the defence and let Henry use his pace, and then mix it up and play short into Kanu and Bergkamp. But at the moment, doing well.
Unlike the Italian national team, which played with 3 at the back, Nesta is just playing with 1 central defensive colleague, Mihajlovic, here. It's a back 4. Kanu. And maybe Henry can get beyond them. Silvinho. Henry pulling wide.
He's going to have that little problem when he has it to feet to try and take people on, because they do get around the ball in packs, Lazio. Talk about double banking on full-backs and wingers. There was 3 of them at him there.
Ljungberg has made progress down that left-hand flank. Headed by Pancaro. Vieira. Keown. Now Luzhnyi. Parlour. Picked off by Simeone. Keown just caught Inzaghi. Lazio quick to get on with it. Veron to Stankovic, young Yugoslav international. Driven in towards Inzaghi, who has his brother's propensity for winning free kicks as well as scoring goals.
Yeah, I thought on the last free kick, Martin Keown was virtually crying foul before the ball reached him.
There's the coach on the left-hand side, Sven Goran Eriksson. Swede, who was under pressure when Lazio were beaten 5-2 at Valencia in the quarter-final last season, but his answer was to take the club on to win a league and cup double in Italy, and once again he is one of the most sought-after coaches in the European game. Nedved, Pancaro, Veron, Nesta, Negro, Stankovic, onto K.Lopez. Promising attack, this Simeone has made progress into the box, but Tony Adams is over there taking responsibility.
And also using his nous a bit. He's got this habit, Lopez. That's the sort of ball that you've got to try and reach. Just didn't quite make it, but enough to turn their defenders round.
Veron looking over the top for Inzaghi. Keown is the defender. 3 goals in 2 Champions League games so far this season. 9 goals in 11 Champions League games last season. Simone Inzaghi has pedigree at this level. But when Hernan Crespo is fit, he may just go out of the team. The injured players, Peruzzi, the goalkeeper, Crespo, the most expensive player in the world, and Favale, the left-back, should all be fit for the return match in 3 weeks' time, incidentally. Stankovic, K.Lopez offside. Wow. It was some finish, but he was flagged.
Yeah, and that was understanding between them. It was tight, it was close, but they've held the ground, they put pressure on the ball with Patrick Vieira, and they've been brave enough, Keown and Adams, and experienced enough. I mean, they've done that, what, 3 million times over the last 5 years.
The Highbury formation arm-raising team winning another medal. Paulo Negro. Stankovic. Tracked all the way by Silvinho. 2 very young and athletic players in direct confrontation over on that far side. Stankovic is just 22. And he's won a corner kick here, which Sinisa Mihajlovic will take. Now, Arsenal have had a lot of tapes of Lazio. They've noticed that they group players around the goalkeeper at these corners, and Mihajlovic whips the ball in to dangerous areas. And Seaman there, under pressure from Simeone, did about as much as he could do.
He actually looks to score, doesn't he, from there with them? Hope that there's enough bodies in the box to prevent the keeper getting at him. It's a very, very dangerous weapon.
Adams up to Henry. Bergkamp against Nesta. So vigilant, those Italian defenders, during Euro 2000, but Nesta maybe had a touch of class which Cannavaro and Juliano didn't quite have in his use of the ball.
Tell you, while this play's developing, I'm just watching Inzaghi.
This one from Veron. This is Kanu, away from Mihajlovic, trying to play Thierry Henry in, just came behind him. Henry with a curling shot, and Veron, who made the initial mistake, was able to get back, and Henry curled his shot wide.
Yeah, desperately unlucky there. He wants more weight on this. Good surge from Kanu. He's always stumbling. He wanted it in front of him. Has to check back. Tries to throw it over. Marchegiani just can't bring it down quick enough. But I'm just get back to that earlier point. Just watching. It's going to develop now. Inzaghi, he's having a little jostle all the while with the 2 central defenders, particularly Keown. It's only a slight guy, as you said earlier, But I think he can stand his ground, you know. Gets his body position. He's had it once or twice on Keown. I'm sure if he does it too much, he might get a reducer in him once or twice.
We should have a glossary of terms available with some of your comments, Ron.
Well,
there's a yellow card there for Henry for the handball.
It's silly, that, really. Puts himself on sudden death now. It's a bit silly, that.
Kanu was brave there. Found Bergkamp. Parlour available outside of him. Plenty happening to his left, though, including Kanu. Adams is forward in the attack. Kanu goes for glory. He's been almost saved for Europe this season. He's been a substitute in the last 3 Premiership games, but has started all 3 of Arsenal's Champions League games and has managed to dodge the Olympic call to do that, having won a gold medal 4 years ago. Luzhnyi. Parlour has run down the right-hand side trying to stretch Lazio. Instead it's chipped in towards Henry, who is offside.
Yeah, I think the jury's out on Oleg Luzhnyi. I mean, I was full of him when I saw him play for Kiev. I thought he was a magnificent player, thundering up and down the line. I'd like to see a little bit more of that from him. But certainly at the moment, Lazio have done well in terms of they've stopped both Silvinho and him and Luzhnyi making those darts and bursts down the line.
Pancaro. Well, Bergkamp's got to help out in midfield. He started at the forward point of a midfield diamond at Ipswich on Saturday and had a disappointing first half. Much better when he was moved forward. Much happier, you could tell in his body language. This is Nedved. Stankovic. Sylvain Wiltord started the weekend game with Henry. Kanu came on late. Keown being forced back by Ljungberg and Henry. Didn't lose possession though. Nesta hung up towards Inzaghi, won by Keown, only as far as Nedved. Now Simeone, good use of the ball. Pancaro, control let him down. Ball did go out of play. We have a break in Champions League action for 3 weeks after tonight. So the next football on ITV is Saturday week, England versus Germany, the Wembley finale. Extended highlights, 5:20 with Des on Saturday evening. Details of all ITV's football and much more too on our website, itv-football.co.uk. Lazio's European pedigree is all recent. UEFA Cup finalists in '98. They lifted the last Cup Winners' Cup the following year, then reached the Champions League quarter-finals last season. But they were 2 down in 4 minutes in the first leg in Valencia and never recovered. But they got further than any of the other Italian contenders last season. And they've done their best in the summer to see and raise the other contenders with their extravagant transfer dealings. Ljungberg and Kanu trying to link up. Across comes Pancaro. It is a goal kick.
Fair part of the first half gone already, and they haven't really given Arsenal a sniff of the goal, have they? The one little situation that Henry had when Kanu didn't quite play the pass he wanted. You know, you come away from home, particularly to a place like Arsenal where the atmosphere's red hot, and full marks for them. Although, by the same yardstick, they haven't really had an opportunity themselves yet. But they'll be content with that. They'll be patient enough to know that 1 or 2 chances take one.
Game is simmering. It's engrossing rather than explosive.
By the way, apologies to Tony Adams. I missed his, forgot about his very neat near post glance.
Neither keeper has been really stretched. Free kick, and maybe that was the reducer that Ron was talking about. That was Keown on Inzaghi.
He'll be stretched this time, Seaman. Nothing sure. This fellow will have a dip from here.
This fella is Sinisa Mihajlovic, one of the most famous free kick experts in world football, Yugoslav international, but he's scored more goals in Italian league football from this kind of position than any other player. Mihajlovic rising over and swinging wide of David Seaman's goal. And just in case you are joining us, he had a serious facial injury 2 weeks ago out in the Ukraine, Mihajlovic, and has got a permission to wear that improvised protection.
It must show the value that Stankovic Eriksson thinks of him, though. The very fact that he's got the Portuguese skipper Couto on the bench and won't play him even though he's injured, even though Mihajlovic is carrying that.
Mihajlovic trying to dispossess Kanu and does so successfully. Free kick given against Bergkamp.
The older fans will be thinking this is the new Peter Story playing, won't they? Dennis in midfield. Dennis the Crunch.
Dennis the Menace. Mihajlovic is the masked man. I hope my boy's not up watching. He'll want one. Any accessory to do with modern football, he wants it. Better market those. Veron did well to resist Vieira.
Yeah, that's a battle royal in there, isn't it, those two? I must admit, 2 of my favourite midfield players. I love this fella Vieira. I think he's a great player, but Veron is a magical player.
Foul by Mihajlovic on Kanu. Card stayed in the pocket. Vieira has Silvinho free on the left-hand side. What a free kick that is. Silvinho. Header away by Nesta. Might come for Keown! Old golden boots again. First serious save that Marchegiani's had to make. And who's it from? Yes, Martin Keown.
Yeah, quite a good effort, but that's the first time as well. Not quite in open play. It came from a free kick that Vieira fed Silvinho in, but that's the first time that either side have got anybody well there. Oh, look at this.
Claudio Lopez trying to get in behind Adams, who did as much as he could. Still Claudio Lopez. Silvinho managed to get a foot to the ball. Adams ahead to the ball. Still Stankovic though for Lazio. Keown missed out. Luzhnyi didn't. And a handball given against Pavel Nedved on the edge of the penalty area as he tried to control the ball.
That's one of the things Arsenal have got to guard against. They have got more pace. Keown's quick. Tony, in all fairness to him, is not the quickest player. He's a great reader, great anticipator, but he's not quick when people like Claudio Lopez, Inzaghi go at him.
That kind of intimate and intimidating atmosphere which Arsenal just couldn't conjure up at Wembley. Very much a part of the night here. Parlour with a challenge, but it's run for Inzaghi. Adams says he dived. Referee has given a free kick.
I think Tony Adams has done well here to let the referee know. He's dived, but he certainly caught him. I think Tony Adams has done himself a favour, trying to make the point that he has exaggerated the dive.
He has only played 1 game in the last month, Adams. He's missed 5 in a row since he was injured as England captain in Paris.
And Eriksson will have, let's see this one through first, because they've also got the other fellow that can whack him for Veron.
Or will it be Mihajlovic with the left foot or Veron with the right? Very central. It's Mihajlovic. Well, David Seaman was trying to get across, but if that had been just inside of his post, he wouldn't have got there.
It was a bit closer. That was a bit closer than it looked at first.
He got almost too much swerve on it. Mihajlovic, who was the match winner at Stamford Bridge in March when Lazio ended Chelsea's unbeaten European home record. Silvinho. Adams. Keown. Offside, Henry.
Just to get back to that point we were talking about with Inzaghi and Adams, you know what? Goran Eriksson, he'll know about Tony Adams' fitness level and so forth, and he'll be saying to Inzaghi and Lopez, work him as much as possible, work behind him, make him twist, make him turn. You see, I mean, he went down in the international match at Paris, didn't he?
On goes Veron, almost fighting his teammate off the ball. Feeds it in towards Simeone, good challenge by Luzhnyi. Veron though to Nedved. Adams it was who got across and made it difficult for Nedved, who sliced his shot badly.
Good spell for Lazio. It's dangerous times just for Arsenal. They've got to get together now, make sure they don't concede anything there. As you say, full marks to Tony Adams there. Made Nedved's job hard.
Kanu. Run off it by Nesta. It might come here for Henry. Thierry Henry for Arsenal. Terrific save by Marchegiani. So quickly off his line there as Henry set his sights and looked certain to score.
Brilliant piece of goalkeeping. Have a little look. I think he tries to have a little chip at him there. He's a bit unlucky he didn't get a penalty there. It wasn't a penalty, but Mihajlovic was desperately trying to take his ankles, but that's the first time he's been able to get something behind them.
Bergkamp's with the corner. In towards Adams! And Marchegiani somehow reacts again. Real chance for Tony Adams. Two tremendous stops by the Lazio reserve goalkeeper in the space of a minute. Claudio Lopez out to Stankovic. Lazio on the counter. It's warming up nicely now. Stankovic goes on, eventually caught by Silvinho. Ljungberg brings it away. Bergkamp. Now Parlour. Arsenal throw.
All sorts going on in the moment too. Arsenal really hadn't had a chance in the space of a minute. Two smashing opportunities. Full marks though to Marchegiani. Two super saves.
Given away by Bergkamp. A likely source of some wayward passing tonight. But Veron too, sending Mihajlovic into trouble. Kanu has come off the worst. Caught in the face. Veron sportingly puts it out of play.
Just got a feeling the header, there they go, they're stretching out, he's overstretched. No blame at all to Mihajlovic. Seen only the ball, he's gone for it, and I mean the guy's got such long legs, but I just wonder whether the pace had gone off this one a little bit as he's trying to get onto it. But it's still a good stop, he's been focused enough. That's what they want there, they're complaining they wanted a corner for it, another corner.
Well, Adams and Keown have both had sights of goal. Henry has had Arsenal's best chance.
I tell you what, there hasn't been, when you look, you've got so many world-class players on view, there hasn't been the quality you would have expected. There in the half been some tension, isn't there? You could almost cut it, you can almost feel it from here. Nobody gets a chance to settle on the ball. This fella doesn't need a chance, he can pick them up from anywhere.
Nedved in towards Inzaghi, dealt with by Keown. Well, only 4 teams have emerged thus far in the Champions League with 100% records. And Arsene Wenger's Arsenal and Sven-Göran Eriksson's Lazio are two of them. Rangers and Valencia, incidentally, are the other two. Bayern Munich beaten for the first time just last night.
Yeah, I must admit, before the game I thought Arsenal would win this, but when I started seeing their team on paper...
Simeone tried to tuck it into Inzaghi. Instead, the latest from Istanbul is Galatasaray 0, Rangers 0. Stankovic is shown a yellow card.
He's lucky to get yellow there. Tell you what, that's the sort of challenge I can't stand. That is absolute cynical. There's no intention there, nothing else in mind but to stop Silvinho's run. All right, you can say an aggressive challenge might cause more damage, but that is blatant and cynical. And in view of those figures you're just talking about, you know, a draw wouldn't be the worst result for either side, would it?
But a victory for either would put them literally within sight of the second phase of the competition. 9 points might just be enough. Vieira into the path of Ljungberg. Oh, the pacey run from the Swede. Negro caught up with him eventually. Some good, honest man-to-man duels all around the field tonight.
I must admit, I didn't think there was any way Negro could win that ball back without fouling him. Super time tackle, but great positive running from Ljungberg.
Keown at the far post, Adams on the near, along with Kanu. Vieira's forward too. Bergkamp in towards Keown, who was just levered off the ball there. In fact, the free kick has gone against him somehow, unless something else was going on.
So this is interesting. You're certainly right. Keown definitely got a little push in as he's going over. Look at there, it is blatant. Pancaro's just nudged him off the ball. I can't. They're a bit fortunate there.
Nedved, dispossessed by Vieira, quietly effective in the anchor role in the Arsenal midfield. Here comes Luzhnyi. Toss rather hopefully in the direction of Bergkamp.
Yeah, his final ball's not been good. He's played a few balls for people in trouble, central midfield, and his crossing hasn't been... Oh, that could be... He went down there badly by the look of it.
Caught by Inzaghi. Vieira is one of 4 Arsenal players on view tonight who have played football in Serie A in Italy without ever really making an impression. Here's Parlour trying to burst past Mihajlovic. There's almost a question mark against Bergkamp and Kanu and Henry and Vieira because they were unable to hack it or didn't get their opportunity to hack it in Italian club football. Clever break. C.Lopez looking for Inzaghi. Way better for Vieira and co to prove their status than against the Italian champions. This is Veron. Parlour with a cracking challenge. Here comes Bergkamp. Played behind Henry. Bergkamp's run was checked, only Kanu up. Oh, Henry's side down there.
Well, he'll be lucky to get away
has
with
already been yellow carded. Now, how will the referee adjudicate that challenge from Dejan Stankovic? I suspect if he didn't already have a yellow card to his name, he would have one now, but he's got away with it.
Not even an argument. Not even an argument.
Very lucky, very lucky. Still on the field.
Nothing sure, he won't survive another one.
Henry in towards Keown, well saved by the keeper, and again Marchegiani managed to improvise as Keown closed in again. I'm not sure that anybody touched the initial free kick. Arsenal pressure is growing. Building to a climax at the end of the first half. Adams attacks this one, Marchegiani sorts it out again. I refer to him as their reserve goalkeeper, but he is a former Italian World Cup goalkeeper, and has only been demoted by the arrival of Angelo Peruzzi for £11 million in the summer.
Good ball into the danger area. It looks almost as if it's an own goal.
It was Inzaghi's header.
He don't normally miss from there, does he? I'll tell you what, it was an excellent ball. Fast whipped into the danger zone.
And Marchegiani was the regular goalkeeper during the double year, and his reward was to be replaced. But Peruzzi is out for the moment with a broken finger.
And the evidence of this, he'll take some getting back as well. Having an excellent game. 3 great saves.
Veron played into trouble. Henry has dispossessed him. This is Parlour. Kanu. Arsenal don't want this half to end. Bergkamp has space. Nodded down to Ljungberg! Wonderful, wonderful Arsenal goal to cap a spell of growing pressure. It's Freddie Ljungberg who's made the breakthrough.
Picture goal, beautifully flighty ball. And Bergkamp does brilliant. Just stuns it, and there's a great following, and he's plenty to do when he gets there, Ljungberg, but Kanu measured. I just wondered for a minute whether they thought he was offside. He wasn't, but what a great run and finish from that. Super at the end of some great pressure. Picture goal.
Well, he's gone more than 6 months without scoring for Arsenal. His last goal was against Bremen in the quarter-final of the UEFA Cup here last season. But the wait has been worth it. Freddie Ljungberg has put Arsenal in front within sight of the half-time interval, and a goal to talk about throughout the half-time interval. Doesn't wear his heart on his sleeve, Arsene Wenger, but deep inside he must be a very proud and a very excited manager. It's the first goal that Lazio have conceded in this season's Champions League. Goal of real quality. Nedved. Arsenal have got to keep their concentration. Pancaro, charged down by Luzhnyi. Pancaro still has it. Luzhnyi managed to get something on that. Keown away, helped away by Parlour. Simeone. Looks like the last couple of minutes of the game, let alone the last couple of minutes of the first half, as Lazio has stung into a response. Inzaghi climbs, Keown climbs higher, away by Vieira. Bergkamp trying to calm it down, instead gives it away. Juan Sebastian Veron. What a fabulous goal it was.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. But I mean, it's measured. The defender's gone in very, very deep against Bergkamp. Don't underestimate the part Bergkamp's played in it. It's a cunning, a great little stun header, but Ljungberg's still got plenty to do, and he gets a great support from midfield and a super finish. And at the end, you know, it might be poetic, but Lazio never really cleared that free kick that we thought Stankovic was lucky to stay on the field for.
It's not exactly Martin O'Neill on the touchline, is he, Arsene Wenger? But Ljungberg got a thumbs up, and that's about as much of his feelings as the Arsenal manager will show.
The lovely thing from a game point of view is you know that Lazio are going to come back. Whether they'll come back and score a different kettle of fish.
Stoppage time, there will be just one extra minute. Claudio Lopez. Negro couldn't gather it, but it's run for Nedved. Stankovic free on the right-hand side. Terrific cross from Stankovic, and Inzaghi, I don't know whether he saw it late, but he had a chance there.
I think if it had been coming in on a deeper run there, behind the ball, I think he'd have had an easy knock-in.
This is Pancaro. Keown away. Henry. Arsenal can't afford to lose it there. Simeone. Veron. Headed by Silvinho was brave. Stankovic again, it was who went crashing in. Ljungberg up to Kanu. Vieira is the furthest man forward. Almost hesitant to be so. It built and built to a... Thank you, Des. It was 2.5 years ago that Attilio Lombardo was manager of Crystal Palace for 1 month in the spring of '98. Remember who his assistant manager was? Thomas Brolin.
It's an ill-fated team. Ron Nodes stepped in eventually, but that was in the Premiership. And there's his brother, the goal scorer, Freddie Ljungberg. Lombardo then for Stankovic, who, if he hadn't been brought off, you felt was going to be sent off. And Arsenal, who scored late in the second half a week ago, have scored late in the first half here, and are inside of another famous win at Highbury. When they moved out of Wembley with a less than 50% record, they promptly won 4 UEFA Cup ties in a row here last season, beating teams from France, Germany and Spain, and conceding only 1 goal in the process. And no Italian club has ever won here. The Highbury legend grew a little more in the closing moments of last week's game, and it's growing again here. Henry. Mihajlovic across. This is Negro, and here is Attilio Lombardo, who is 34 years of age now. Veron.
I think what they'll get from Lombardo, what that gentleman will get from Lombardo, is a sensible, disciplined performance. Certainly, you mentioned his age, but you know, he'll still have the stamina and energy to get up and down the sides.
Lopez. Here is Lombardo. Ljungberg is back there. Simeone was a rather subdued figure in the first half. Negro to Veron. Quickly under pressure from Henry. Dispossessed by Henry. Here goes Vieira. Ljungberg to his left. Brought down, was he, by Simeone. Referee was very close. No flag against Ljungberg. Hit against Nesta. And is it a corner or a goal kick? Goal kick.
You know what, I think the referee there played the yes-no interlude. He went on for ages, he looked at the linesman that was about 800 yards away, and then went as close as he could before he gave a goal kick.
All the linesman was prepared to confirm was that the ball had gone out of play. I think he knew that. Pancaro run off the ball. Bergkamp looking to release Henry's pace with an early ball which was slightly overhit. Negro's given it away to Ljungberg. Henry just eased Negro out of the way and was penalised.
Needs to be careful on that as well.
He's been yellow carded already, Thierry Henry. Kick him against Keown.
Yeah, there's something going off there, isn't there? I mean, Inzaghi's muscling and trying to muscle the 2 big Arsenal central defenders, and you know, he's been in a match after today, but he seems game, you know, he keeps coming at them.
Negro. Vieira. It's like a good Bronx middleweight, isn't he? Juan Sebastian Veron, undefeated in 55 fights. Here's Lombardo, clipped in towards Inzaghi, but picked off by Seaman at the near post.
Yeah, good situation that for Lazio. Some brilliant play by Veron, and I actually thought Lombardo should have produced a better ball.
Ljungberg bursting past Ferry. Here goes Henry against Nesta. That's long way around Alessandro Nesta via the ring road. Goal kick given.
Just trying to think, when was the last time those two played against each other? But I think Henry will prefer that when he gets the ball in areas. There they go again. When he gets the ball in areas when he can have a wide run of people.
Sylvain Wiltord, the 4th Arsenal forward, warming up, and Arsene Wenger has had all 4 on the field at once on a couple of occasions this season.
Don't think that'll be the case today, to be fair. I think it'll be 1 for 1.
Kanu here finished as a defensive midfield player at Ipswich last week. Wasn't very defensive. Nesta. Negro. Veron. Seen a lot of the ball without really hurting Arsenal yet. Veron. One went astray too, and here's Bergkamp into the path of Luzhnyi. Kanu unusually out on the touchline. Luzhnyi to Parlour. Trying to accelerate past Mihajlovic, who seemed to block his progress. The referee was looking through bodies, didn't give anything. Lombardo. Claudio Lopez. Lombardo has Nedved to his left. Inzaghi making a run ahead of him. This is Pavel Nedved. In towards Simone Inzaghi, and he tried the clever backheel there, but it was well shepherded, well guarded. Luzhnyi maybe a little rashly conceding the corner. Just trying to step over that and flip it to the inside of his trailing foot there, Simone Inzaghi.
Total concentration from the Arsenal skipper though, wasn't it? Wasn't going to be fooled by it, wasn't going to buy it.
Big fortnight ahead for Tony Adams, for Arsenal and for England. Mihajlovic will take the corner. Came off Parlour.
Tell you what, it does whip that ball in. I know the people in the middle may not appreciate that one quite so much. It was short, but it does whip it in. It's a bit ugly when it comes in at you as a defender.
Pancaro is forward from the back. Dealt with by Adams. Nesta. Back out to Mihajlovic. Well, I think they had all three options covered there. Mihajlovic not quite as dangerous with his right foot. Sven-Goran Eriksson making his fourth visit to Highbury as a coach. He was beaten here 5-1 with Gothenburg 20 years ago, then put Arsenal out of the European Cup during his Benfica days, 1991, and then was beaten in a Cup Winners' Cup semi-final with Sampdoria 5 years ago. Offside. Steve Bold scored a couple of goals in quick time that particular night. Echoes of Keown's performance last week. He's had good clubs, Eriksson. Mihajlovic looking over the top for Claudio Lopez, but Adams and Keown have looked rock solid tonight. Luzhnyi just clipped.
To me, Oleg Luzhnyi, just looking at him, he seems very inhibited since he's played here. You know, I mean, he was a massive player when he played at Kiev. It's a shadow to me of the same player.
Into the semi-finals in 99 and the quarter-finals in 98 with Dynamo Kiev. Plenty of experience in this competition, the number 22 over there. Lombardo, a beaten finalist with Sampdoria at Wembley. He's had a great career. Veron. Negro. He was offside. Arsenal may just be a little bit more studied and circumspect now. They have that lead to protect. They've had a very exciting season, but there's no need for them to get carried away now that Arsene Wenger's team have got Lazio basically where they want them. Nedved. Lombardo, good challenge by Silvinho. Good strong work by Ljungberg. Lombardo trying to get in behind Arsenal here, but he can't quite keep the ball in play.
I think what we saw there from Silvinho and Ljungberg, though, sums up what this game's been about. Sheer competition, nobody allowed it to dwell on the ball. You lose it, and the first thing you try and do is rectify your mistake, get back on the ball again, make it hard for the opponents.
Kanu. Mihajlovic coming across just to help the ball back to his keeper. Latest score from Istanbul, and Rangers' unbeaten record in the competition thus far is in danger. Bülent has put Galatasaray ahead. Galatasaray 1, Rangers 0.
I certainly think Seaman, let's see what he does with this one, but he's certainly on his dead ball kicks this half has looked happier. He's getting a far more distance. And they've had that little tactic once or twice. It's usually been the other way around, where Kanu flipped a couple on for Henry.
He was 37 earlier this month, David Seaman, but he's been in good nick the last few weeks. 10 years in the Arsenal team, 7 years in England regular, more than 500 top-level games. You can't dismiss that kind of experience lightly. Bergkamp. Accelerated into space, tried to jab it for Ljungberg! What a night he's having! 2 for Ljungberg, 2 for Arsenal, clear daylight between them and the Champions League favourites. Made by Bergkamp again.
Massive part by Bergkamp. He did well for the first goal. He's done even better here. And you know, there's a little thing before that. But look at this. Look at him driving run. Fed into his back. And there's a lot of determination in that. We've got Marchegiani coming out as a spinner, strong keeper. We've got, I think it's Lombardo trailing him, making it hard. That's bravery and cool finish. But you know, for me, what was nice about that, prior to that, you know, Nesta was pulling away at the back of Kanu's shirt. And then all of a sudden Lazio lost possession. I think Kanu was almost entitled to a penalty there.
Arsenal are growing up in the Champions League. It was a steep learning curve in the first 2 years, but here they are, within touching distance of a third straight win at the start of this year's campaign. And what a scout Lazio would be.
This has got all the weight. This is quality of the ball. He threads it. He's got just enough quality on it. He makes him just slight favourite. Goes in terrifically brave Ljungberg.
The other match in this group is in Prague tonight, and it's currently Sparta Prague 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1. Neither of those sides registered a single point in their opening 2 games. So Arsenal are going to be in a very strong position at the head of the group if they can preserve this 2-goal lead, and Lazio's response is to bring on Marcelo Salas up front. Here's Ljungberg. Salas waits in the centre. It's longer towards Simeone. S.Inzaghi is the player who's gone off incidentally. And there is Marcelo Salas, who almost left in the summer, who almost joined Manchester United 3 summers ago, whose place has been threatened by the arrival of Ljungberg and Hernan Crespo, but is still a rare talent, the Chilean international. Talking of rare talents, here's Kanu. Silvinho. Just overran it and showed enough of it to Nesta. Vieira. Can Lazio respond? Pavel Nedved. He's been quiet tonight. Attilio Lombardo, who failed to get back with Ljungberg there. Ljungberg just had a bit too much energy for him, and Bergkamp had all the craft that was needed to set him up. Lombardo charged down by Vieira this time.
I'm just looking around how many Vieiras are on the field. At the moment, he's here, there and everywhere. I think he's immense.
Lombardo. Put clear by Silvinho, a little wastefully to Vieira. Ljungberg. Vieira again. Lifted in towards Lombardo. Brave defending by Tony Adams. More bad news for Rangers fans from Istanbul. It's now Galatasaray 2, Rangers 0. Hakan Şükür has got the second goal for Galatasaray tonight. We're going to see those goals with Des and Terry after the match, and extended highlights of that game with Gabby and Barry at 11:30 tonight. Ljungberg. Oh, and a mistake by Nesta, and here's Kanu now with a chance to bury them, and Marchegiani makes another wonderful save at the feet of Kanu of all people. Terrible mix-up.
Brilliant goalkeeping, Clive. Absolutely brilliant. But what I tell you what, they're not as happy. Nesta's a super defender. I ain't too sure about the others, you know. Had big doubts about Mihajlovic. Okay, you may think he's been dropped in it a bit by Nesta's square ball, but that is super keeping. We expected Kanu to do something magical, backheel it or something, flip it over his head. He's kept his eye on the ball, Marchegiani.
Well, he can demoralise goalkeepers with his skill when he gets in those positions, Kanu, but Marchegiani kept his eye on the ball and kept his courage and his wits about him and made a terrific stop, which has kept Lazio in the match. Kanu could have put them to bed there. Little more than an hour play. Arsenal, thanks to two Freddie Ljungberg goals either side of half-time, have a two-goal cushion. They have a free kick to defend, and Martin Keown with a yellow card to his name. Keown's second of the competition, one more, and he will be automatically suspended. Offside, Lombardo.
That's the difference. He's definitely wind assisted this half. And he can get the ball in behind, and that will suit Henry.
Martin Keown, who left the field to a standing ovation from the fans last week and walked into the dressing room from a similar ovation from his teammates for those two goals in the closing minutes, which may have been the springboard for what Arsenal are achieving here tonight. A home defeat to Shakhtar Donetsk would have been very difficult to take.
In a funny way, that might have worked for them. The way they came back, it might have given them that extra belief for this particular game.
Ljungberg. Silvinho. It's almost as if Lazio have had it too easy in their two opening games. They won them both by 3-0. Again, a fairly plain outfit for a team of their reputation tonight. They've been competitive, as Terry was saying at half-time. Fairly careful in their approach, but it hasn't quite been the spark about their individuals that you might have expected from the likes of this man, Nedved, from Veron, from the forwards ahead of them. Pancaro in towards Lombardo there. Jabbed away by Adams. Here's Kanu. Henry had pulled away to his right, foul by Veron.
Yeah, he's trying to hang on as long as he could, Kanu there, to give Henry the chance to get into a good run. He wanted to release it early, but Henry hadn't made his position, and Veron's helped him by giving him a free kick.
Parlour. Ljungberg. Here's Luzhnyi. Ljungberg. Through to Bergkamp. Oh, he chipped the goalkeeper, but chipped the crossbar too. Audacious effort by Dennis Bergkamp, typically so.
Yeah, touch unfortunate here. They're looking for offside from the deflection. Stuck behind him, he can't really dig it out to get it over the keeper. I just wonder what Arsene Wenger's thinking now. Is he going to be content to sit here with the three attack-minded players who are causing problems when they get good possession? Or is he going to stick, say, Grimandi on or something like that? Where he's done well tonight, Wenger, in his team selection, he's picked some high energy in midfield.
Veron looking for his international colleague, C.Lopez, but Seaman is there. It's amazing, you know, Wenger's got these four fabulously talented forwards. whom he's paid a king's ransom. And the goals in the Champions League that have mattered so far have come from this man, Silvinho, in the opening game, the left back. From Martin Keown, his first goals at Highbury under Wenger, 2 in almost as many minutes at the end last week, and then after a 6-month drought, 2 from Freddie Ljungberg tonight. Lombardo to Negro. Simeone. Offside. Arsenal looked a little brittle at the back on occasions this season, unusually so, but they've looked like their old selves at the back tonight, haven't they?
Just thinking Silvinho tonight has almost been defensively Nigel Winterburn, hasn't he? He's taking his calls off Tony Adams for the offside.
Henry crashed into Nesta there. There's a real aggression about Thierry Henry these days. Seems a different player from the one who played at Monaco and went to the semi-finals of this competition at Manchester United's expense 3 seasons ago. He was a rather peripheral, wide player then. But it's Ljungberg who scored the goals. Nesta to Veron. He hasn't used the ball as well as I've seen him on occasion tonight, Juan Sebastian Veron.
Actually, his long ball passing's been a lot better than his little combination play. But I think if we kept talking about the shortcomings, if you like, of the Lazio side, in a way, you're taking something away from an Arsenal side. And Arsenal played well tonight in terms of grit and in terms of doing a lot of hard basic work and producing when they've had to.
There's certainly no intention of doing that. It's been an outstanding performance. Pancaro to Nedved. Parlour clipped him there on the edge of the penalty area, and it's going to be a yellow card for Ray Parlour.
Yeah, a bit unnecessary as well, because Nedved was running into traffic a little bit. There's still a couple of Arsenal defenders there with a shout of robbing him. And what he's done is built up a little bit of pressure. Because we know they have got good set players, and he's gone down a bit easy though, Nedved there, to be fair. But seems Varane drilled him for this, so Mihajlovic can sort of get that, what they call an up and downer, past the keeper's left hand.
Looks like a right-footed free kick this to me, so it's more likely to be Veron.
So the left keeper sees nothing from me. I mean, half a problem for a keeper when he's got people like that on the ball and bodies in front of him.
Veron takes through the wall, hit Keown, I think. Alongside Negro on the edge of the 6-yard box. Mihajlovic. And Claudio Lopez is offside.
Just watching Tony Adams there tonight, I had little doubts about him because of his fitness level. He's been brilliant tonight. But what he's doing, when there's no pressure on the ball, when Lazio have got good possession in midfield and the strikers are running, he's going back in with them and marking. When there is pressure on the ball, they'll call the back line up and catch them offside.
He'd only started 15 club games this year prior to tonight, in the year 2000. He has had all kinds of problems, and they are lingering problems which have put lingering doubts in the back of his very positive mind about his future. But when he is at his best, he is just so influential, both as a player and as a leader. That captain's armband is more than just an indication of his seniority at the club. It is an indication of the influence that he has over everybody else in the dressing room. Simeone knows the ball to run away from him. He's strong enough to resist Parlour, but again it's given away by Lazio in midfield. Arsenal keeping them under pressure, harrying them into those errors. One back by Salas. Simeone. Nedved. Looking for Salas. They're in control back there, they really are. Individually and collectively, the Arsenal defence have played well tonight.
I also think they'll have been very happy to see Inzaghi go off, you know, because he was a nuisance. He was zippy and he was sort of fighting his corner. At the moment, Salas certainly hasn't had a contribution.
Here's Veron in towards Salas. Seaman is committed and Keown rather got in his way. Veron now in towards Claudio Lopez. Keown's header only as far as Salas. What a tackle that is by Tony Adams. Hit by Pancaro, but a wonderfully timed lunching challenge by the Arsenal skipper.
That's brilliant, brilliant.
One Kevin Keegan will be enjoying this tonight. Arsenal's captain, his captain, back to his best.
That's been a big help for them. The second half has tried a spectacular one there, Bergkamp. But all of a sudden, like, Seaman's getting far extra length. Kanu's getting his share of flick-ons. And they're able to turn the back four quite comfortably now. And the game's getting stretched.
In North London, Arsenal now playing with the wind at their backs. Talk of Kevin Keegan, reminder that the next football on ITV is on Saturday week. Extended highlights at 5:20 on Saturday evening of England versus Germany. Details of all ITV's football and much more on our website at itv-football.co.uk.
You might have to start kicking those more on an angle, Seaman, so they run to the corners of the pitch instead of straight through to their keeper.
Mentioned that Kevin Keegan will be enjoying this. Sir Alex Ferguson might be enjoying it too. The fact that Arsenal have played 24 hours later and have had to field their strongest team against such strong opposition in a home game in the Champions League, and there's no chance for Arsene Wenger to start resting anybody here. They've worked too hard to earn the lead that they now hold to be thinking too much about Sunday's encounter in the Premiership with Manchester United. Another goal for Galatasaray in Istanbul tonight. Mario Jardel now has made it Galatasaray 3, Rangers 0. Rangers did hold a 3-point lead in that group going into tonight's game. It's about to be wiped out. Here comes Fabrizio Ravanelli, another familiar figure from the Lazio bench. Free kick given against Parlour. Didn't keep it in, Nedved. Well, here he is. A man probably remembered in this country for the goals he scored for Middlesbrough in their relegation season, but at this level, Ravanelli's goal for Juventus against Ajax in the final of the Champions League in Rome in 1996 of more significance, and it's the first substitute, Attilio Lombardo, is being replaced.
Been limping badly just for the last few moments, though. I think we're going to see Lopez occupy the right wing spot, and Ravanelli go up front with Salas.
Borough reject is the chant from some of the Arsenal fans. He played in this competition against Manchester United last season for Marseille. But the back injury, which we understand Lombardo has suffered, has brought Ravanelli back onto centre stage here. Simeone. Strong play by Parlour. It's been a strong Arsenal performance. They've really stood up for themselves tonight. One by Henry there, far sharper. They won so much possession in the middle third of the field against rather ponderous Lazio players by comparison.
I think what's happened in the second half, they've managed to get the game stretched, which is a natural thing. The longer the game goes on, players can't quite cover the ground. But also the fact they've been able to hit a few more balls that have turned the last line of the Lazio defence. Oh, he's in.
Ljungberg looking for his hat-trick. And he's poked it. And the goalkeeper has had an excellent night, managed to respond. He didn't quite get the touch he needed there, Freddie Ljungberg.
I'm not sure that might not have been his best chance of the night, you know. Lovely little flick on a little dummy. Now there you think, go on, take it forward to your left foot. His first touch has just let him down.
Might have got a nudge too.
But that's what they're doing now. They're winning a lot of sharing balls and turning that back line.
Silvinho's header giving Ljungberg another chance to run. Nesta caught him.
He's made the decision himself, Nesta. He knows he's taken him out.
The free kick has been given. So the referee recognised that it was a foul, but no card for Alessandro Nesta. Oleg Luzhnyi in towards Henry, just trying to glance that for Kanu. I believe the score from the other match, incidentally, in this group, Group B tonight, is now Sparta Prague 2, Shakhtar Donetsk 1. Ravanelli. Salas. Again, rather loose play. Claudio Lopez. Marcelo Salas. Lopez trying to get in behind Silvinho. He was looking for a penalty. He was never going to get one. Is there an argument at all, Ron, for saying that they are just short of that top-level competitive match practice at the moment? Their league season doesn't begin till the coming weekend.
Could well be so, but you expect, I mean, you see Milan go and beat Barcelona yesterday, and you think, well, hang on, their preparation's been right. No, I genuinely think tonight it's been a war of attrition early on, and I think Arsenal are reaping the rewards now for how hard they worked early on.
Kanu, Henry running ahead of him, Mihajlovic just managed to reach it.
I mean, we'll be disappointed in their, if you like, their talented players not producing much. I think they've been not too clever at the back. I can hardly remember in the course of the game where any of the fullbacks, for instance, made a charge forward.
Vieira charging forward for Arsenal. He could go all the way here, Patrick Vieira. Poked into the path of Henry. Nesta eventually managed to get in a challenge, but Vieira has won it back for Parlour, and here they come again with the two-goal hero, Freddie Ljungberg. Silvinho. It was a teasing cross into the danger area. Nobody took a gamble on the edge of the 6-yard box. Here's Ljungberg again.
Is he the most improved player at the Arsenal? Silvinho this year? He certainly has impressed me every time I've seen him.
We're looking at another South American, Nelson Vivas, who's about to come on. Ljungberg.
Oh, scored a goal, have we? We've got a couple of goals under our belt now, everything will go in.
I don't think there's anybody in the Ljungberg household watching tonight, or they're all here, but if there is a mantelpiece there, maybe just start to clear a little bit of space, because there might just be a match ball coming that way. He's 2/3 of the way there. Parlour scored a hat-trick last season in Europe, feeds Henry. Now Bergkamp. Here's Ray Parlour again, in towards Henry. Lovely cohesion about Arsenal's approach play again there.
I think the energy in midfield, the driving, the hunting and hustling, and they've been so much quicker, those three. And
it's Dennis Bergkamp who's going to make way for Nelson Vivas. A lot of talk about him in the final year of his contract. He's had a good week, a winning goal at the weekend, 2 assists tonight. I wonder whether he'll go to Rome in 3 weeks' time. He drove to Florence for the Champions League game against Fiorentina last season. It's Nelson Vivas who will come on in his place. He can operate in midfield. Silvinho. Adams is free here. The ball's in a hag in front of him, and instead of being able to attack the ball, he almost headed in at ankle height in the end.
Well, you talk about thoroughness as well, you know. He's been doing that for donkey's years, Adams, that one spin.
Not donkey's years, please.
Sorry, he's been doing it for a long, long time, that spin round the back. And the ball just didn't carry forward for him.
Well, he's been a thoroughbred tonight, that's for sure. Mihajlovic. He does take chances, and he was dispossessed by Vieira.
I think I've seen him run into a tractor than Vieira. I'll tell you what, he is some player. It's starting to intimidate him a bit now.
Mihajlovic, who was red, saw the red mist during Euro 2000 for Yugoslavia. He has a shorter fuse than most. Here's Nelson Vivas, who's still a part of the Argentine national setup. He was a substitute, funny enough, for Simeone in their last qualifier. They're top of the South American qualifying group at the moment. Spent most of the second half of last season out on loan to Celta Vigo in Spain. Oh, how does that feel? Silvinho, Brazilian, taking the proverbial out of an Argentine international of some repute, Claudio Lopez. See ya. Very satisfied Arsenal bench. Pat Rice, who was part of the success over Lazio 30 years ago. There has been quite a bit of press for the fact that the away leg finished in a Barney in the street when Arsenal and Lazio players fell out at the banquet after the game. I think even the mild-mannered and college-educated Arsenal goalkeeper of the time, one Bob Wilson, got involved towards the end of it. Imagine the headlines that would make today. Latest score from Istanbul, it's now Galatasaray 3, Rangers 1. Andrei Kanchelskis has pulled a goal back for Rangers. There are conflicting stories of how soon Bob actually got involved in the fight. There was a suggestion that he arrived rather late in the day.
He sent for the police, played his party, rang for the police. Bertie Mee was involved as well, wasn't little Bertie?
He had to pull, well, he saw hearsay, but he had to pull Frank McClintock off a couple.
And that was only his own players. He'd have been first in Frank, wouldn't he?
Henry. Kanu.
Well, on the word of fighting, you've got to say the spirit and the fighting presence, if you like, of the team tonight has been the major factor, I think. I mean, you usually associate Kanu and Henry with great silky skills and flowing movement, but their work tonight's been phenomenal.
Heroes all over the field. Adams has been immense. Ljungberg, obviously, with his goals and his energy, has had a marvellous game. Bergkamp, before his departure, contributed a lot of craft, particularly in the creation of the two goals. Adams to Ljungberg. Here's Kanu. Adams is motoring forward now in search of a goal of his own. He's ahead of Henry for the moment. Away by Negro, a long way back now, Tony. Veron to Claudio Lopez. Parlour is there.
Just about to make the point on Parlour. He started off the game a bit. He was fighting and scrapping, giving the ball away a lot, I thought, Parlour. But the longer the game's gone on and on and on, particularly this half, he hasn't half got involved.
First taste of European football this season for this man, Ray Parlour. Henry, clever little turn. Couldn't get away from Nesta, who somehow won a free kick there. Maybe Henry had a little tug at him, and I think he's about to be replaced by his fellow countryman Sylvain Wiltord. Here comes Wiltord, who made all the headlines as a substitute in the summer with the French international team. Henry at least will get an extra 6 or 7 minutes of rest in preparation for Manchester United's visit on Sunday. And Wiltord, who forced the golden penalty in the Euro 2000 semi-final and then got the last-minute equaliser in the final, both as a substitute, comes on in that role tonight. Ljungberg's goals after 43 and 56 minutes are the difference between Arsenal and the team who certainly started the night as the favourites to win the Champions League, Lazio.
You know, I wonder if Arsene Wenger, if he's given him any further thought about the possibilities of playing more games with the front three he's played with tonight. Certainly he can back them up with three midfield players of high energy behind them, particularly when Vieira's back. What's he got, one more game?
Vieira just completes his suspension. We'll be watching the United game here on Sunday. But despite their blip in Eindhoven last night, they're still in a good position in their group. Leeds United are in a position which few of us envisaged in their group. Rangers are having a tough night of it in Turkey tonight, but are still going to be joint leaders of that group. And here are Arsenal now, within sight of having a 3-point lead at the top of Lazio's group. But here's Mihajlovic to make them think carefully. And they've got Keown back on the line here, protecting Seaman's right-hand post. Now he's coming off, a little bit concerned about the offside. Mihajlovic, that's what he can do. That is what he can do.
You know, it's one of my hobby horses, isn't it? People on the line. I think here, Seaman hasn't had to move. He's moved and made a great save, but he knows he's defending that half of the goal. He knows that side's looked after. Very often you see the keeper in that position start to go the other way.
Ravanelli with a little flick. There's a flick there off the wall on the way through to Seaman, incidentally. Nedved with the shot. I think it was Nedved actually got a slight touch on the free kick from Mihajlovic and made it an even better save from Seaman.
But the number of times you see keepers who leave a blank space from free kicks start to shift that way. He knows his responsibility is to defend that half of the goal. Good organisation, full marks. You know, the old argument is, well, people will push in on top of you and make it hard for you. It's hard enough already. You've got to deal with the first problem, which is Mihajlovic's shirt.
Verón. Usually didn't cut that one out. Made too many mistakes back there tonight. That one's not going to be punished.
A little bit fortunate. At one stage, he almost handballed it. Managed to pull his arm out the way at the time.
Arsene Wenger has just passed his 4th anniversary of the first game that he had in charge of Arsenal, which ironically was a European exit in Mönchengladbach. Hasn't got past the first stage of the major European competition they've been entered for in 4 attempts, but at the 5th time of asking, having almost won the repechage last season, the UEFA Cup. His team of certainly 9 points would put them inside of qualification for the second phase.
I know people have theories and all sorts, but I tell you what, Lazio would have loved tonight to be coming here to play, not coming here, but it would have been loved to be come to play at Wembley.
Hasn't enjoyed Highbury, have they?
Oh, they can get a good atmosphere on top of them as well. You know, the crowd will seem a lot more on top of them. Certainly they would at Wembley, or will do in the Olympic Stadium in Rome.
It's funny, I was down in the dressing room area prior to the game, and Stankovic came into a small room halfway up the very tight Highbury tunnel, which is actually our interview room, looking for somewhere just to warm up and do his stretches, and he was complaining a bit because there was no room in the dressing room. And I was explaining to him that it is a very old stadium, a listed building in actual fact, and it's maybe not quite in terms of those facilities what Lazio are used to, but it has great atmosphere, a great surface, and Arsenal and their supporters have a great affinity with this place. Now can they round off the evening in style in the last 90 seconds? Silvinho. Adams beyond the far post. Back towards Sylvain Wiltord. Adams is...
I tell you what,
he was offside.
He knows the offside rule well. I expect him to put his right arm up.
Having had the experience, the learning experience of the last 2 years and reached the UEFA Cup final last season, is this a team now which would have to be regarded as a contender to win this competition?
Yes, definitely. I actually fancied them a little bit last year. I thought they underachieved last year. I fancied them a little bit to do very well last year in it, and I do now.
Sven-Goran Eriksson's team will still be contenders too, but they've been deservedly beaten here tonight. The return fixture in Rome's Olympic Stadium is nearly 3 weeks away. In the meantime, the Italian League season starts upon Sunday when the rested Manchester United come here. The next round of World Cup qualifiers begin the following weekend in Europe and South America. No rest for the wickedly talented. 3 extra minutes for them to toil through now.
I tell you what they can expect, though. It just shows tonight how important Adams is to them. Because he's organisational, his captaincy, his experience. But when they get back to the Olympic Stadium, I think they'll expect far better. Certainly Eriksson, Sven-Goran Eriksson will expect far better performances.
Crespo should be fit for that game. Peruzzi, the goalkeeper, should be fit for that game. Favalli, the left full-back, should be fit for that game.
Yeah, but I'm thinking more of people.
Ljungberg.
He'll be lucky for that. He's done it again. That's cynical, I think.
Nesta it is.
He tends to referee games as well, Nesta. That's a couple of occasions he could have got into the book. But when you look at the likes of Claudio Lopez, who we saw play so well last year for Valencia, and quite frankly, Salas has looked awful. Maybe 1 or 2 different performances there, but by then Arsenal could well have had it sewn up and they could have grown in confidence themselves and will fancy it themselves.
And they'll have Robert Pires fit by then too. Pancaro. Ravanelli. Simeone. Looking for Salas. Adams is there once more. Luzhnyi down to Keown. They certainly had their act together in defence tonight, Arsenal.
Yeah. I don't know, I think they've been protected well by the 3 in front of them though. They've been tigers, the 3. And this little fella.
Parlour to Kanu. There's a final party trick to round off the show. Vivas accelerating forward to his right.
He hasn't measured his pass. It's a great pity. I would have thought if Kanu had done one. Oh, he's done one. He's done one of his tricks.
Vivas. Vieira. Might still come from Wiltord. He's onside here, Sylvain Wiltord. He's around Mihajlovic. Marchegiani really has improvised well tonight, the goalkeeper.
That would have been icing on the cake, wouldn't it? Another goal there. I was just waiting for one moment of Kanu. So
you got it.
You got it.
You got it. And Bob Wilson, who's on the staff here at Arsenal, looks after David Seaman's training, was saying that they were talking in the coach's room the other day about the way he moves the ball around outside his feet, almost like an ice hockey player moves the puck around. He's got these huge feet, and yet so much control and finesse and touch with them. There's some happy conversation in that coach's room tonight. Some very, very happy Arsenal fans who've seen their team extend their perfect record at the start of this Champions League campaign, thanks to 2 goals, one either side of half-time from Freddie Ljungberg against a team who started the night as favourites to win the Champions League. So many pluses and bonuses all around the field for Arsenal, but the biggest plus and the biggest bonus of all is the final scoreline. It's Arsenal 2, Lazio 0. We'll be back with Des and Terry in just one moment.